Alright, what's going on, guys? Hope y'all are having a good day. So I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, pretty much since Cold War came out. I just never got around to it, and with the addition of some of the updates that came out, especially like Frenzied Guard being added to the game, this makes this video a lot more relevant. So today we're going to be ranking every single specialist or field upgrade ability in Cold War Zombies from worst to best. Currently, there are 6 different ones, and they all have really unique attributes and uses that can, completely change how you play the game of Cold War Zombies. And we're going to take a really in-depth dive into how each and every single one works, some of the best setups that I found, and how you can use these more effectively. If you do end up enjoying the video at any point, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and let me know in the comment section what your favorite specialist ability in Cold War Zombies is. I'm sure my list is probably going to vary from some of your guys', and that's absolutely fine. I would love to know what your preferences are down in the comments and why. But with that being said, let's get into it. So coming in today at our worst field upgrade on this list, I didn't even really need to think too much about this one. It has to be Energy Mine. Even when it's fully upgraded, I really don't think it even holds a candle to virtually any of the other abilities in the game, and I'll explain why. Energy Mine essentially works like a deployable area of effect denial device. God, that's a mouthful. So basically, you have a maximum of up to 2 charges considering this is fully upgraded, and you get extra explosions depending on how well this is upgraded at the same time. Now, the problem with Energy Mine at the end of the day is not only do you not get enough charges to make this thing viable or even useful, but I think the fatal flaw is that it doesn't immediately take effect. The thing is with these specialist abilities that you want, especially in a zombies game, is you want an instant effect no matter what it is. As soon as you press those buttons, you want something to happen, and with Energy Mine, you have to take a couple of seconds for the Energy Mine to deploy and then start exploding, and that you could say that's still like reasonable and that might be alright and have its own setups, but it doesn't even really have that great of an effect either. At most, Energy Mine is maybe useful for getting challenges done where you need to kill like specific special enemies, because at really all it does is stun lock things. It doesn't kill too well, to be honest, and especially boss enemies don't really get stunned for that long. It's not great, and I really haven't been able to find a use for it. If there is some cracked Energy Mine strat that I am missing out about, then feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I will thankfully eat my words on that. But until then, I think Energy Mine has to be the lowest tier field upgrade, and I don't really see anybody using it, to be honest. Coming in after that, though, we have Healing Aura, and I have absolutely nothing against this field upgrade. Now, it is very situational, and it's certainly going to be more effective and useful in co-op modes. That's not to say it doesn't have some uses in solo play, but I'm going to primarily recommend that you run other things if you're playing by yourself. Obviously, playing a 4-man squad and with teammates who maybe aren't the best at zombies, Healing Aura can literally be the thing that will carry you through your game. But what makes it better than Energy Mine, at least? Well, interestingly, this specialist may as well be Energy Mine with an immediate effect and the fact that it heals your health at the same time, because applying Healing Aura or, calling out the specialist will automatically knock over all enemies surrounding you, including stun locking special enemies. Assuming this specialist is fully upgraded, it also prevents perk decay so that if your teammates go down, they're not going to lose perks over time. It even has a residual effect, kind of like the Staff of Ra in BO4, where it would hang around and continue to heal you and your teammates for a span of about 10 seconds afterwards. So the way it looks to me, just in practical terms, this has everything that Energy Mine already does alongside the healing abilities that Energy Mine simply cannot compete with, and it's an instant effect, which that also cannot even hold a candle to. With that being said, though, Healing Aura does run into its limitations, and honestly, if you're playing with a team that doesn't really go down a whole lot and you have a squad of some pretty good players, Healing Aura really isn't going to get used that much, and in fact, there's a lot of specialist abilities, in my opinion, that can prevent you from going down anyways, kind of negating the need for somebody to be running Healing Aura. But if you're a beginner player and you're trying to get your bearings and just get a feel for Cold War Zombies and wanting to stay alive a little bit longer than you have been, it's definitely not a bad call to run. So at the end of the day, I have absolutely nothing against Healing Aura. I just don't feel as it's the most practical thing on earth, especially for depending on your play style and, whether you tend to play solo or co-op. It's very situational, so I think it's high tier in some cases and just not really useful in other cases. But anyways, moving on, and coming in next is actually pretty interchangeable with Healing Aura. This is Frost Blast. So this, in a lot of ways, is basically the same thing as Energy Mine, only the effect is instant. Now, the key differences here are the fact that I would prefer Frost Blast if it came down to it for solo play, and Healing Aura for co-op. Assuming it's fully upgraded, you get 3 charges of Frost Blast, and this essentially creates the exact same area of effect denial that you get with Energy Mine, only this fact that it's instant, it freezes zombies, and they take increased damage while they are frozen. So it's actually pretty dang good for clearing out large hordes of of enemies, and the effect is obviously instant. I personally think that Frost Blast is the best starting specialist because there's not a lot of like technicality to it. It's pretty much just a pick up and play thing. You can use this as a panic option if you get run into a corner, and the fact that you have 3 charges means that you have a lot of like get out of jail free cards pretty much. My biggest problem is that it doesn't have any bigger effects outside of stunning the enemies, you know, making them take increased damage, and then having 3 charges. That's basically it. It may as well be Energy Mine with an instant effect and without the healing effect that you get from, you know, the aura upgrade. To make Frost Blast more effective, I would simply rework it in a way where while it's active, if any zombies happen to get through and hit you, they get automatically frozen as well for the duration of, you know, the stun lock period. This would effectively kind of make it work like Winter's Wail from Black Ops 4, and I think that would be a pretty good trade-off for this, because as it is, it's like okay, but it's not anything amazing. It is certainly outdone by all of the other specialists going forward. So coming up next, we have Frenzied Guard. This is the newest addition to the game as far as the specialist abilities go, and I thought that this was going to be probably the most useless in the game, but it turns out I was wrong. I was completely wrong about this one, and in fact, it's pretty much my go-to for playing Outbreak unless I'm playing a holdout challenge. Frenzied Guard seems to have the most overall utility if you're playing Outbreak on solo, and again, virtually any challenge that isn't a holdout, I will be using this one. Now, I will be honest, I haven't really experimented with this one too much in traditional round-based modes, and it still could be pretty good for solo, but I think that there are better uses if you're playing co-op. Now, the main benefit to Frenzied Guard is that it restores your armor and pretty much makes you invincible for a pretty fair duration, and the whole idea and the effect of zombies being attracted to you doesn't really matter all that much, and even in co-op doesn't seem to have much of a real effect on the game, but just restoring your armor is absolutely crucial in Outbreak because there's only really a couple ways to obtain it at the station when you're about to, you know, teleport to the next location, or getting random armor drops from special enemies, which isn't guaranteed. I think it could be made a little bit better as well if it was slightly reworked to have a Ring of Fire effect where you get a bottomless clip while you're in it. It's not going to increase your damage or anything, but it makes so you don't have to reload while in Frenzied Guard and making you invincible. I think it would be, you know, a contender for one of the top tier specialists in the game, but again, it is pretty situational as well, but I find it works really, really well in solo Outbreak. But moving on and climbing to the very top of this list, next up we have Ring of Fire. This will probably come as no surprise to any of you. Ring of Fire is easily one of the best abilities since day one, and it's gone through a lot of changes. I would say that in terms of popularity, Ring of Fire is the most widely known and recognized, and I would say probably the one that people use most. Ring of Fire is amazing because it essentially creates an invincible pool for you to stand in while putting out insane numbers of damage, and it is literally the thing that some camping strategies rely on. Some high ground strategies in D-Machine and Firebase C literally will not function without the specialist, and when fully upgraded, it only becomes even better. The biggest downside is that it forces you to remain in one location, so if for whatever reason camping isn't really your thing, or if you're playing Outbreak and you need to be moving around to different locations and doing, you know, objectives and things like that, you can't really take the Ring of Fire with you, so it forces you to be, you know, very stationary and not moving. However, the effect that you do get while standing in it is absolutely unmatched, and the damage output literally cannot be obtained any other way. It even stacks with things like chopper gunners, death machines, and any kind of other piece of equipment or ability you can bring into it. It is absolutely incredible. But as all these other ones do, it certainly has its limitations. But moving on and coming in at the best specialist, in my opinion, has to be the one and only Aether Shroud. Now, while it is a close competition between Aether Shroud and Ring of Fire, in my opinion, as being the overall best specialist ability, I think it has to go to Aether Shroud, considering it's fully upgraded, because you get 2 charges, and honestly, that makes all the difference in the world. You also get an extra speed boost when it is upgraded, making you ridiculously fast. Not only is this good for speedrunners, it's just good in general because it gives you a ton of offensive and defensive option. You can use this to take out special enemies while you're in your invincible window. You can use this to revive teammates, do certain Outbreak objectives while you're in that invincibility window as well. Zombies won't even target you, they'll go do their own thing, completely relieving any pressure that was previously on. It has an unbelievable amount of uses in solo and also co-op. I just think it's the most overall effective best specialist. Now, of course, there are situations where, you know, ones that are specifically cut out for it are going to be better, like a Ring of Fire for damage and a healing aura for picking up teammates, but of overall utility, it has to be Aether Shroud, and I don't really think there's too much arguing that. It's absolutely amazing in round-based zombies modes as well as Outbreak, and I find myself using this all the time in whatever I'm playing. So this is pretty much my go-to, and this is going to be my list of all of these specialists in Cold War Zombies ranked. As we're going to go through the season and probably get a few more added, this list may change and some of them may get reworked. I'm not really sure, but as is, this is how it stands. Let me know your guys' opinions down below in the comment section. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to give it a like rating, subscribe if you're brand new, and make sure to go follow me on Twitch. The link to that can be found in the description. I would love to see you guys over there, but hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy. I gotta go, and peace out.